Today we'll be building the Falchion knife from Counter-Strike. This knife is by no means a beginner-friendly knife, as it took every single tool I own to make this knife. Power tools are required for this one, namely a Dremel tool and or a drill press. Start by spreading glue onto a sheet of paper. For this I'm using 110-pound cardstock, although any weight of paper will do as long as the final template can withstand its own weight. Take several sheets of the paper you just made and glue them back to back. The idea here is to create a template that can stand up to its own weight. The number of sheets you'll need depends on the paper you are using. Afterwards, put this template underneath heavy books for 24 hours. I've created a cut sheet you can use for this project. Check the description for the download link. You can cut this out and tape it to your template to use as a cutting guide. Using a craft knife, cut out the following pieces as shown. Using regular school glue, you will need to glue together the 3 pieces that make up the spine, the 3 pieces that make up the lock, and the 2 pieces that support the blade, as shown. I then used my Dremel tool with a cutting wheel to help shape some of the contact surfaces for the lock. Afterwards, I went in with a fine-tooth file to finish everything up. How well this knife locks up depends on how well these contact surfaces meet. Since these contact surfaces are high wear areas, I recommend that you use superglue to harden these contact surfaces. Using any sort of drill, and the drill bit the size of the pin that you're going to use as a pivot point, drill holes in the places marked on the cut sheet. For the pivot pins, I use the shaft of a Q-tip. At this point, I would do a quick function check just to see that everything lines up. Afterwards, you'll need to drill 2 more holes on the other half of the handle. Remember to use some sandpaper or a file to clean up your holes, or else you'll have fitment issues. Temporarily put everything into place, then using regular glue, glue the spine in place. If you try to close a knife, you'll notice that the locking latch will not fit flush with the body of the knife. This can be remedied by taking off some material around this area. I straightened out a paper clip and used that to make a simple leaf spring, which I then hot glued into place. This will be used to put tension on the lock. I took another sheet of paper and traced out the profile of the blade. This will then be glued into place to hide the supports and also to give the blade its beveled look. The process is identical to the paneling I used to cover the supports on my swords. At this stage, you're ready to assemble everything. Apply glue only to the spine section, then glue on the other half of the handle. I've also included cutouts for scales on this knife. Feel free to spray paint these whatever color and just simply glue them into place. Then you also need to cut the pins to size, which are then held in place by a small amount of glue on the surface. Other than the tooling, this knife is built pretty much the same way as any other knife. The real gimmick behind this is the locking mechanism. Once you understand the mechanism, you can pretty much build any spine lock knife. As usual, like if you liked the video, dislike if you didn't, feel free to leave a question or comment, and check out some of my other videos. You can also follow me on Twitter where I post early pictures of my next project.